everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Tomcat Stitchery. I'm Whitney, and today I have a little bit of a pattern addiction to share with you. Okay, so if you watch the daily vlogs, you will have already seen my love affair with the Cielo pattern from Closet Case Patterns. Pop a picture of it here. So this pattern comes with a couple of different variations. It has a kind of a cropped-ish, it's cropped high hip, I would call it high hip. A high hip kind of a boxy top with a short sleeve that almost appears to be a grown-on sleeve, but it's not. It's an actual set-in sleeve with a cuff. And then it comes with a dress that has these really cool inset pockets in the front. Or you can do a dress that's just basically the top elongated. And then it also comes with this gorgeous lantern sleeve as well that you can add to any of those. So yeah, two different sleeves, really just one bodice, but one of the dresses, because it has those really cool pockets that are kind of inset in the front, it has separate pattern pieces. So I delved into this pattern. I actually received that the Cielo is part of a 3-pattern grouping from last year that comprised the Rome collection the Closet Case put out. It was the Cielo, the Pietra pants that are shorts, wide leg pants, and a tapered pant, and then the Fior skirt that also comes in a few different variations. And I actually received all 3 of those as a very early Mother's Day present from my family, so I've kind of been sewing my way through them. Anyway, started off with the Cielo, loved it, and just kind of kept going with it, mostly because I kept just getting more and more ideas about ways that I could just make it look a lot different, and ways that it would fit into my wardrobe. And I'm not even done with it. Like, I can still think of many more, but I made 5, so I needed to stop for a minute. So anyway, I thought I would share the 5 with you, especially for those that don't follow along in the daily vlogs, and let you take a look. All right, so let's start off with make 1. I'd also like to preface this by saying I'm also having a love affair with linen at the moment, and that's like all I want to sew in. But anyway, so number 1, and I will pop footage of me actually wearing these so you can actually see what they look like on. So this was my first one. This is the dress that has the really cool pockets in the front, and I made it in this, this is the premium range from the fabric store down in New Zealand, and this is their regular weight linen, and this is the brick colorway. I'll pop a link down to fabric when it's available. Not all of these are available, but actually only 2 of these are available of the 5. Anyway, I'll pop a link, and they're both from the same place. It's the linen from the fabric store, and I will pop a link down below, but this is the brick colorway, and I just did the straight dress with the shorter sleeves with the cuff. Loved it, but did find that I needed to make a couple of alterations. Now, this is a very loose-fitting dress. It's a sheath dress, but I needed to do a petite adjustment up through here. I talk about that on the channel, and I'm actually going to do a separate video on that, on how I do petite adjustments. Basically, if you get a lot of pooling like right here in patterns and you need to pinch stuff out just because you're shorter in through here, which I am, although my bust sometimes, because I have a larger bust, will sometimes take up some of that slack, so I don't always need a petite adjustment, but I definitely do on occasion. So I did do one on this. So this was kind of my wearable muslin, and it is a loose dress. It is so comfortable. I love the color, and this is going to get worn a ton this summer. But that was dress number 1. I determined I needed to do a petite adjustment, and I think that's the only, oh, and I'd also taken 3 inches out of the length and determined I had to do a narrower hem on that dress. I really only needed to take 2 inches out. So I did some switching around, because my next one was the top version. So this is basically just the top portion of that. I had done my petite adjustment on this. I also lengthened the darks by 1/2 inch because just the shape of my boobs, and it worked out fantastic. This just came out of the wash, so it's a little wrinkly, although I don't really iron my linen. Just as a little FYI, I like my linen rumpled. I don't want it creased, but I do like it rumpled, and so a lot of times I might just throw it in the dryer with a damp washcloth if I needed to release a little bit, but for the most part I wear my linen rumply. Anyway, this is the top version here. So I had done the petite adjustment where I took out an inch here. I actually added the inch back in this one because I did not want to take any length away from this top that sits me high hip. You can see here in the footage, the jeans I'm wearing here are mid-rise jeans, so they're not even a high-rise. I think with high-rise stuff, I like this even better. So anyway, love this top. Love the color. This was some linen that was just in my stash that I'd bought forever ago. Yeah, the color's just a lot of fun. And I've been wearing this for Me Made May right now. So this is kind of popping into the capsule along with this shirt that I'm wearing. So yes, so that was my first shirt. And this is when I thought, oh my gosh, I really love the top. You know, I love the dress, but I really like the dress with the deep pockets, and there's some that we can do to kind of mix and match things up there, but you know, for the most part, how many sheath dresses with those cool pockets do you need in your closet? Well, the answer for me is 2, but for that, I mean, that's kind of it. But the top, I feel like I can change up, and I guess the dress too, but I can make it in rayon, which I haven't done yet. It can be made up in cotton. It can just be made up in a whole host of things. Gosh, even some like lighter weight wools, you could line it once the weather starts to cool down if you wanted kind of a cool shell top in the cooler months even. But anyway, again, my mind just mile a minute. So after I made that one, I think this was my next one, this is the back of the shirt, but I had this gorgeous, really lightweight linen with this window pane check pattern in it, because you can even see my hand through there, that I inherited from my mentor Joyce, but I had very little of it. It was a remnant. So I had enough for the back and for the sleeves on this one. Then I had some lightweight white linen that I also had in my stash that I used for the front of the shirt. So I don't mind being able to see an outline of the back of my bra through my shirt, but I obviously don't want you to be able to see through the front of my shirt. So I chose this lighter weight white linen that was just in my stash. I have no idea where it came from, to be honest. And then I used the white linen and I did the bias binding neck finish. This pattern has 2 different neck finishes you can choose from. You can choose the facing, which I did the facing on those first 2 I showed you, or you can use a bias strip to finish off if you're using something a little bit lighter weight, which I clearly was with this one. So I finished off the neckline with just some bias tape that I made using the solid linen, and this is my favorite one of all of them. You're not supposed to have favorites, but this is my favorite one. I did French seams throughout the entire shirt, including the sleeve hem. You can see the French seams there. This is the little yoke. Well, here, I'll turn it inside out. Everything is clean, finished really cleanly on the inside of this. Okay, so there are those back yokes that are there, and I finished off my sleeves also with the French seams. I mean, this one took me longer to make, obviously. And then I've got the neckline finish, the bias binding, and then my side seams are finished with a beautiful French seam, and then the bottom is folded up and, you know, just like a fold up hem, as is the cuff bands kind of get the same treatment. So everything is just finished off really beautifully on this shirt. You know, it's white, so I'm gonna wear it with a ton, and it's not bright white. It's more of the creamy white that's more, a warmer white, I guess. That's a little bit better for me. But yeah, this is gonna get warm with shorts, with skirts, with pants. I mean, this is my favorite one. So that is my white linen version of the Cielo. All right, then I guess I did this one next. So I wanted to play around with the lantern sleeve. Now, the issue I have, I think that the lantern sleeve is absolutely gorgeous. I think it looks so flattering, especially if you're a little heavier on your bottom half than your top half. I think this lantern sleeve is beautiful for that. It makes your bottom half look a little smaller because the focus is on the arm. Unfortunately, I'm the opposite. I am bigger on my upper half than I am on my bottom half. So I feel like I look a little unbalanced in this, just it makes my lower half look even smaller than my top half. But I had this really gauzy see-through fabric. It's a knit actually, but doesn't have much stretch. And I really wanted to try the lantern sleeve with it. And I'm actually really pleased with it. I had to go back and I did shorten the sleeve a little bit. This lantern cuff part gets added on. And I shortened it a little bit more there, which I think looks great. Obviously this is see-through, so I actually made a misty cami that goes underneath in this silk fabric. that I'll wear tucked in. So this is because the cami actually is longer than this shirt. So it'll get tucked in and then this gets worn on top of it. But yeah, I think this is such a gorgeous sleeve. I actually finished off the neckline of this by binding the neck edge as opposed to the bias facing, just because of the fabric that I was using. But yeah, I really love that. I love the color, and I love this with white. And again, it's just a fun little see-through, and I could wear different colored camisoles under here if I wanted to, just to kind of add a little extra fun. Actually, if I made like a nude for my skin color camisole, that could be kind of fun, because it would look like things were like sheer, but not. Anyway, I do really love this. I think this will be a fun top that'll get a lot of wear, even like a nicer top. You know, we're going out for dinner and that kind of thing, if and when that ever happens again. But yeah, I'm glad I played around with that sleeve. I was just curious. I wanted to see what it looked like because I love it on everyone else. I probably won't make that sleeve again for myself just because I don't like gathers on my shoulders. It just makes me look broader than I am, and that's usually something I'm trying to minimize. So that's just a personal preference, but I think it's a gorgeous sleeve and I love it on everyone. So after I did that, I really had the idea when I was making the other dresses and tops that I used the facing, how fun it would be to do the facing in a contrasting color and have it on the outside of the top as opposed to the inside of the top, because I top stitched my facings down along the outside edge on the other two, and I love the way that looked. So I did a little bit of a fun treatment. I did interface. I interfaced my facing, and I had a little trick that I showed you guys. It's the same facing trick that I used on the Misty Cami on the daily vlog, which basically I'm sewing the the fusible interfacing to the facing along the outside edge, and then it gets understitched, clipped and understitched, just like if you were sewing, you know, two pieces of fabric together. But the fusible interfacing gets sewn with the sticky side up. And then when you tuck everything in, then you fuse it, and then it finishes off everything really nice and smooth. So that's what I did on the neckband, and then I top stitched it in the, it's the same color thread as this part of the dress. This is a dark olive green. The body of the dress is the same dress as the red one. It's got the big pockets. I wore this the other day, and then I used the same, I have a small piece of this kind of an olive green linen that I used for the contrast. So I just did my cuffs there too, just so it made sense. Kind of looks like a ringer tee a little bit. But this is the marmalade color from the fabric store as well. The same linen as the red dress, but in a different color. So this is the marmalade, which I also really love. So I had this one on the other day and got some compliments. Well, I posted pictures on Instagram. And I got a compliment because I was wearing it outside. I wear fancy clothes when I'm walking with my husband because I want to. So I had this on with tennis shoes. And we had seen some of our neighbors and we're chatting from a safe distance, obviously. But yeah, so that's my fifth one and where I'm stopping for now, because I feel like I need to put some limits on myself, or I mean, in this day and age, I mean, like this time that we are right now, I could very easily just continue, you know, sewing through. I have a very large stash. I could very happily sit down here and sew through the whole thing. But do I need that many clothes? No, I do not. So I did have to put the brakes on a little bit. So there you have it. That is my Cielo collection, and they were all made within a few days of each other. I've put the pattern away for the time being, but yeah, that may have a resurgence later in the summer. We'll see if I'm just wearing the living daylights out of these 5, which I very well might be. Anyway, I hope that was interesting to you. If you don't own that pattern and you are looking for a new summer pattern, I highly recommend it. This is not an affiliate link. I don't get any commission on this pattern. It's just one I was interested in trying and have been very pleased with the end results. So yeah, it was definitely gotten my money's worth out of that pattern so far. And I'm sure, I mean, yeah, it's gonna get made a ton more. Okay, I hope that you guys enjoyed that and seeing my Cielo collection. Let's see, Sunday you are seeing part 3 of the B6543 sew along. It's the final one. We'll be finishing up our dresses. It's in a different fabric because I had a filming snafu where basically I thought I was filming things and I wasn't. So I had to make a second dress. So I have 2 of those dresses in my closet now, and thankfully I absolutely love both of them. But the final one of that is coming up on Sunday, and then next week we've got my April makes that I'll be sharing with you, everything that I got made in April, and then Friday will be my May plans, which I'm filming this on May 4th, and I am working on Pietra pants right now, which I probably won't put in the May plans. They'll show up in the May makes, but since I've already started and cut into those. But I'm actually, yeah, thinking of switching things up, and instead of doing some maybe slower projects in May, I really want to do a Jessica blazer and some orange linen. And I think now is probably a good time to do that. So that may happen. Anyway, and I did have a couple things from April that I did not get accomplished that I still want to do. So those are also making a show in the May plans as well. Yes, that's what we have to look forward to. Okay, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you on Sunday, or I'll see you in the daily vlogs if you're watching me there. All right, have a good one, guys.